Their names have become synonymous with being victims of bullying. Phoebe Prince, the Massachusetts girl who was new to the country and whose family says she was bullied to death. We've also heard about Megan Meyer, the Missouri teen whose mother has appeared on this show many times after her daughter committed suicide after allegedly being bullied on MySpace. Now there is a new face associated with bullying. It's Nadine Corey, who was harassed by a group of kids who taped it, and by now we've all seen that tape. Nadine has since become a de facto national spokesperson for all of us who were ever bullied or had a loved one who has been a victim. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Lynn Doyle. You know, the interesting thing about the video that we've been seeing is that it was released actually by the police department. And the reason it was done, it was an effort to send a message to anyone who might be bullying someone. Michael Chitwood is the superintendent of Upper Darby Police Department, where this incident occurred. He's the man behind that decision to arrest the suspects and release the tape. He's been joining us with his perspective on this. We invite you to tell us what you think as well. Now we're joined, though, by Dr. Jay Carter, who is a psychologist, a nationally recognized speaker on bullying, and the author of several books, including The Bully Caterpillar, which is going to be turned into an animated film. Dr. Carter, thank you very much for being with us.
Nice to be here.
When you saw that video that was released by the police department, what was your initial response?
It was pretty extreme, borderline, criminal. Actually, really, definitely criminal at that point. And I've seen bullying a little less than that, but still, it's very, very important when this happens to do something about it, because kids, obviously, they commit suicide, they get traumatized by it. Maybe we think that it's just a part of life, but it's very important to children.
I'm so glad that you used that term. It's just part of life, part of growing up, because a lot of parents, myself included at some point in the last 30 years, have kind of written it off and said, well, we've all been there. It's happened to everybody at some time or another. It seems like now, though, we as a society, and certainly as parents, taking it far more seriously.
Yes.
It's not just a ritual or a rite of passage anymore.
No, it was never a rite of passage. In this country, we assume it's a rite of passage, but even in this country, the Amish, there's no bullying among the Amish. Europe, there's some bullying there, but they really take it to heart when that happens, and they do something about it.
So why is it that we have bullying here in America, the most prosperous country in the world? What do we have to bully these kids about?
Well, that's how we grew up. Bullying even happens in corporations. When you grow up, you get bullied by the executives, and some of them, are like that. We just live with it. We accept it because that's how we grew up. It's not a good idea.
No, it isn't. Well, it's time that we do not accept it anymore, because as we have seen, this can actually turn deadly. Fortunately, in this case, it did not, and Nadine has been actually, as I said, a spokesperson for all of those young kids who are being bullied right now, and he is being very brave and very courageous to stand up and share his experience so that perhaps this never happens to another child. We applaud him for that effort. We are joined now live on the telephone by Rebecca Wright, who is Nadine's mother, who is equally outraged about this incident, what happened to her son. Rebecca, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Can you tell me, when you first learned what had happened to your son, what kind of emotions you experienced?
Oh, man. Right now, I just can't even stand watching the video. I was just in court with a victim. I mean, with all of them, and I couldn't even watch it. It's just so disturbing that you can even see the kind of thing happen to your children. There's nobody wants to see something that happened to their children. Nobody want to feel that way.
No, I just, even me, I mean, he's not my son, but tears come to my eyes when I see it happening to this young man. And yet he's been very brave about it, hasn't he?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Now, I understand that it's very difficult sometimes after you've come forward and talked about a case like this to get back into the school environment. Has he adjusted well? Is he having any trouble, or are people understanding of his situation?
Well, that one, I can't, because of my lawyer's situation, I can't make no statement on that one until we violate him. We try to take him to the doctor and all that. So I can't say anything on that one for now.
Okay, I certainly understand and respect that you need to adhere to legal advice. How about this? What message would you like to send to other parents? What advice might you give them if their child is being bullied or has been a victim?
I would ask them to stand up, to speak up, not to be afraid of anything. Speak up, and because this is a crime, and it has to stop. If we join together as a parent and continue to stand up and speak on this, I believe it will be a law that will be committed that anybody that catch doing this kind of crime, that they will be able to be charged and go to jail and do the time.
So, of course, we have Superintendent Chitwood here, who has been the man behind making this national statement. What would you like to say to him?
Yes, I would say thank you so much to him and the whole police department in Upper Darby. They are doing a great job, and not him being the police chief of Upper Darby, but I believe I feel right now that he's like a father to me. He has been supported and calling me, and even the police department. I don't know how to express my thank you to them. I would just say, I appreciate everything they're doing, and that they continue to do, and I thank you for everything they're doing.
Well, thank you, and I hope to see you again in the future at some event where we can talk about bullying and the courageous acts of you and your son.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mrs. Wright, thank you very much. And please tell your son on our behalf that we're all great admirers of him for what he is doing to try to stop bullying for other kids.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you for calling in. We appreciate it. You can hear the emotion even now in her voice, knowing that her son was a victim. And, there's no rhyme or reason with this. I mean, why was it her kid and not someone else's? We all say there, but for the grace of God, go I. It could have been my boy.
Right.
So what do we say to parents? How do we help them protect their children?
Well, the interesting question that we have fielded since the incident is why did they pick on him? Mm-hmm. And he has even been asked why he thought he was picked on. And again, his statement was he was the smallest one of the group. He's a fairly new arrival in the school campus. I think he and his family came here in May of last year, 2010. He did 2 months and then start school again.
And they came from Sudan?
I think Liberia.
Liberia?
I want to say, but they came from Minnesota, so I can't tell you how long they've been in the country. And he also made mention that they would always talk about his mother because she spoke broken English and she wasn't an American. And that seemed to be a target of these bulliers.
Do you see in your experience, Dr. Carter, that there's some similarities among those who are bullied, or is it a very wide spectrum?
Anybody that's different, the new kid, easy prey, anybody that's smaller, that's what they look for. The bully character is always looking for easy prey, and they don't want to be hurt, so they're not going to pick anybody that's might come back and have consequences for their actions. Immediate consequences for these type of people is probably the best thing. Immediately do something, take them off into a room, make them write something 1,000 times, and do it immediately.
You mean by an adult
By
figure?
adults, yes.
Certainly not by the bullying victim himself or herself. It's interesting that you say that, there are some similarities, because after I do these kinds of shows, I'll get emails from people from a wide spectrum